Well, that happened. The best and worst pay-per-view of 2022 so far. So I did find some enjoyment in it. Some of it was the unintentional comedy, some of it was the matches, and of course the card was much better previously, but problems arose. Like, even though Nakamura is one of the most forgotten champions, I was happy to see he was facing Sami Zayn. We were possibly going to see a new champion because his run was dull as hell. Roman Reigns is the #1 guy, but Corona came in from out of nowhere. What is up, guys? Wrestling Premiere is here. I just wanted to wish you guys a happy new year. Hope you guys had fun, enjoy yourself, and we're off to a new year where Brock Lesnar, the Usos, Charlotte are champions. Like, what the hell? Is this 2015, 17, 18? What year is it? Like, on paper, you could say it's any of those years, right? With that said, the show had Amigos, Brock Lesnar, Edge. Card was somewhat stacked. I don't want to waste time with the intro. Let's get into it. Alright, the first match on the pre-show saw Sheamus team up with Holland to face Ricochet and Cesaro. Similar to the other pre-show matches, this was yet another solid outing. It's not something like you're going to want to watch. You're not going to feel compelled to watch it. Let's talk about it quickly. Unfortunately, during the match, Holland suffered a broken nose. He was phased out of the match, and Sheamus was like, hey, hold my hat. He took over, and it was essentially a handicap match, and the Celtic Warrior was dominant despite the disadvantage. Cesaro comes in, kicks up the tempo, but Sheamus rebounded and dropped Ricochet on the outside before connecting with a bro kick. So basically, Sheamus is OP. He beats these two on his own. And once again, I love to see Twitter show some respect to this man because he's consistent. He's one of the most consistent wrestlers on the roster. Like, he's never outright the best wrestler, but he's far from worse. He's far from worse. He's always putting on some cool matches with the hard-hitting offense and all that. And I'm always interested in watching him. Like, this is something that I find weird to say, but as the years went by, I found more interest in watching Sheamus wrestle. Cool to see that. Obviously, people didn't like Ricochet and Cesaro losing. You know, they basically lost to one guy, and they're more than capable of beating him, obviously, but it is what it is. First match on the official show was for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The Usos, who are ironically down since day one, faced the New Day. This feud has depth to it. It's very rich in prestige, and if you disagree, go watch their other matches. It's like they're destined to feud until the end of time. This was yet another welcoming inclusion to that never-ending feud. I mean, when you have the Usos on one side and the New Day on the other, it's a W before it even began. Like the results of Roman's previous matches. We know he's going to win, but in this case, we know it's going to be good. The second half of this match was just ridiculous. There was so much heat and excitement from the crowd, and in the ring, these guys are giving each other their very best shot. There was awesome sequences, surprising near falls, and again, I thought the Usos were losing, but they got the same cheat code their cousin has on pay-per-view. It's really a superb opener, and I'd say it's a highly recommended watch if you never saw it. I thought we were going to have a Survivor Series 2021 incident with the show peaking here, but in my opinion, that was not the case. Oh, and Bully Ray was probably dancing by his TV after seeing that 3D. Love that fit. It just came from out of nowhere. It was something new. They had to go out of their arsenal in order to get something to win the match. So I thought that was awesome. Next up, Drew McIntyre faced Madcap Moss. Honestly, I didn't care about this one. The result was more obvious than a title match involving Kane and the Big Show. It was just there, and come to think about it, there's not much to say. Like, all I thought about during the match was Corbin's fit. There just was not much interest in this one, and I'm shocked that they didn't have Drew McIntyre beat him in like 3 minutes or something like that. Damn, I didn't think Corbin had it in him to do this. So basically, the feud continues between Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin. It's obviously gonna end with Drew McIntyre winning it. The next match was the Raw Tag Team Championships. The Street Profits challenged RK Bro for the titles. And a shocker, Randy Orton came on with the freaking Migos. Like, right when I saw them coming out to the ring, my mind flashed back to that picture in the airport. I was thinking, damn, 2016 wasn't that long ago. Turns out, it's from 2014. But yeah, Migos and Randy Orton were reunited. In 2022, it's already trying to one-up 20 and 21. The Profits worked as a heel, somewhat isolating and grounding Riddle. Orton was growing more impatient as the minutes went by, and once the tag was made, he burst out. The Eagles were having fun watching him drop the opponents, and the match was kicking up here. Montez Ford was out here diving, risking, and all but one mistake cost him, and Randy Orton once again showed why he's one of the most popular wrestlers with one simple move, the RKO. The crowd exploded when he did it, and I would talk more about the match, but it was textbook stuff. It's not like I'm saying it's bad or anything like that, but one thing for sure is that it wasn't bad. On the topic of RK Bro, well, it's a weird situation, you know? Many people expect Randy Orton to turn on Riddle, and some, not a lot, actually feel it's going to be the opposite. It could be possible due to the surprise factor, but I'm thinking we're going to go with Orton as the heel and Riddle's babyface. Probably have Riddle beat him at WrestleMania. We'll see. Following this, Edge faced The Miz. So upon his return, the Radar Superstar crossed paths with an unlikely wrestler, The Miz. Heading into the match, I didn't really have high hopes for this one. It wasn't like I thought it was going to be bad, but I knew what was coming. As a match, this one was decent enough, but the problem was it was so damn long. Like, I get Edge's back and he needs to do his stuff, but this certainly would have been better had they cut off the time. The Brood entrance was cool, though. It just wasn't necessary to drag the match for the sake of it. They told a story in there with Miz targeting the leg, locking in holds, but ultimately Edge fought through. Maurice got involved. whacked him with a person. Then Beth Phoenix randomly came out, and I'm not gonna lie, I burst out laughing here. She was angry, fuming, yet she couldn't walk. Like, at this point, you're thinking to yourself, what was she waiting for, an invisible door to open? Obviously, it was for her music, but that was unnecessary. She got rid of Maurice, leading to Miz win. Actually, Edge speared his ass for the 1-2-3. If you really thought Edge was gonna lose this match, I don't know what to say. The match itself, as I said, not bad, but man, it could have been better had they cut off some of the time. Since Beth was here, I assume a mixed tag team match is in the works. I don't need to predict Miz is losing. That's actually a spoiler from me. I just thought it was unnecessary to drag it for the sake of it. Next up, Liv Morgan challenged Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. This match had a lot of interest in it. Some actually believed Becky would lose the title. She ain't gonna lose the title on a random pay-per-view. And if she were to lose the title, it certainly wasn't gonna be against Liv Morgan, right? Nonetheless, she showed up. This was definitely her best match up to this very point. Becky sold her as a threat, often feeling paranoid over the results of the match, and throughout the whole entire thing, she'd have this fearful look on her face. Liv, on the other hand, was non-stop. If she was on offense, she was persistently striking or going for something like the sunset flip, and the crowd, once again, was very interested into the match, and were very interested in seeing Liv Morgan win. Becky was making more mistakes and almost tapped to the rings of Saturn. Then from out of nowhere, she just grabbed her and dropped her with a Uranagi and botched. Rope was too far away, and basically Liv Morgan lost clean. Very good match. It was definitely more enjoyable compared to the previous matches on the show. I didn't exactly doubt the result, but I thought it would end a bit differently. I guess Liv is done in the main event for the time being. Doubt they have her win the Rumble or anything like that, although a lot of people want her to win it. And the main events. Big E defends the WWE Championship against Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Bobby Lashley. At least that's what it was initially. See, Roman got corona and was unable to compete on the show. I don't know how that would have went. It's crazy to think about. There was a couple of possibilities. And so Brock did a Brock Lesnar and found himself in a title match. When looking at Big E's run, yeah, it was weak as hell. I kept on thinking it would get better as time went on, but the man was losing a lot. And in a way, it felt like the third or fourth wheel in his own title match. Hell, this man didn't even enter last. I don't really care about that, but some didn't appreciate this. Also, if you had asked me earlier in the day about this match, I'd say it was Seth Rollins or Kevin Owens' night. If you'd asked me during the match, I would have said the same thing. Regarding the match, the action itself, pure carnage and anarchy in 8 minutes. Nonetheless, I'd rather have this than a 30-minute match for the sake of it, We see those a lot. Because of the short length, it made every second entertaining. You couldn't look away from the screen, and I mean it. Man Bun Brock was dropping everyone in sight, but once he lost focus, Big E, Bobby, Seth, KO, they all went on the attack, and I also loved how Seth and KO sticked as a team throughout the whole entire thing, which leads me to believe that they're probably going to be a tag team soon. Big E was dropping everyone, but from out of nowhere, Brock came in giving everyone F5s like Oprah gives out cars. When Lashley comes in with this crucial spear, Big E falls with a big ending, and then he took the F5. I was like, kick out, but then the ref's hand slapped the mat for the 3, and I was stunned. Like, I haven't been shocked by a result like this in a while. It really caught me off guard, but I should have saw it coming. I thought it was weird because they were building the Roman and Brock feud on the other side. Me personally, I would have preferred to see the others win it. Seth Rollins is probably the most deserving. I think a title on top of those wild outfits would have been a sight. Kevin Owens, he's always been inside and outside the main event, but hasn't had a run these few years to show for. Bobby Lashley, he had a good run as champion, and the only reason why some didn't like it was because of the 100 main events with Drew McIntyre. Big E, the win could have, I'm not saying it would have, set his title run on the right track. As for where they go from here, well, I ain't the booker. Nobody saw this coming, but if I were to say, there's a few possibilities. One, this is the obvious. They could do Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. If this happens, I will be hyped as hell. We've wanted this match for a few years now, and I don't understand why they haven't given it to us yet. But this is a wild one. I think this one's a little too crazy, but with the way things are, it could happen, honestly. Brock losing the title at the Raw Rumble, then he enters the match later that night to punch his ticket to WrestleMania and face Roman Reigns. That's a possibility. I feel it's wild, but I feel it could happen. Or they go straight up with the title versus title match. It's very hard to tell. As for this match, it was wild for all the right reasons. It's my favorite match of the night. I would say the opener was outright the best, though. Like as a match, that was probably the best match of the show. My favorite is the main event. It just reminded me of Vengeance 2007, where everybody was dropping each other with RKOs, FUs, going through announce tables. It gave off that kind of vibe. Overall, day one was a nice improvement for Survivor Series. For one, we didn't have the whole blue balls Rock thing. Second, there wasn't a golden egg. And third, the matches were way better here. Even though Liv Morgan lost, she put in a great performance. The Usos and the New Day did what they do best, and that's have great matches. And the main event itself, even if you don't like the result, like from belt to belt, it was a sprint. It was quick. It was intense. It was everything you'd want in a match that's under 10 minutes. Alright, what did you guys think of day one? Please comment down below. And that's it for this video. Make sure you hit the Uranagi on the like button and perhaps the F5 on the subscribe button. Peace. I'm out.